Hello friends, welcome back in this video. Today I am going to discuss about a very important concept in computer architecture, and those are the registers, right? So we all use the devices which are powered by the CPUs nowadays. But have you ever observed that how does a CPU actually remember the things, what to do and where it left of the operations, right? It's neither your RAM nor your cache memory, but it is actually different and even smaller and faster, and those are the registers, right? So let's discuss what are the registers. So these are the small high speed storage locations directly present within the CPU that hold your data and the instructions that the processor is actively working with, right? And these are the fastest form of memory available to the CPU. So the main key point about the register are these are the small high speed storage locations present directly within the CPU, and they are usually hold to store your data and the instruction given to the CPU. So these are the key characteristics of the registers, right? First one is the speed. These are the fastest memory hierarchy level, right? Because these are faster than cache memory, RAM, or even the storage, because these are directly accessed by the CPU, and their size can be varied from 8 to 64 bits depending which architecture you are using, like 8 bits, 16 bit, 32 bits, and 64 bits. And if you talk about the location, then they are physically present or the located within the CPU chip. Okay, that is why they are faster than all these kinds of memories. Okay, because the CPU can directly access the registers. And if you talk about the capacity, then the capacity is very limited, usually between 8 to 32 bits, and it is for the general purpose registers, right? I will discuss what are the general purpose registers in another videos. In this video, I am just giving you the overview of the registers, and with the help of some examples. And what is the purpose of the registers? It usually holds to store the data, the addresses of the instruction, and the control information. Control information means whether you are writing or reading to the memory address, right, which are used for immediate processing. If you talk about the example in ARM assembly, which is basically a RISC architecture, so I have written three instructions here. The first one is move R05, that means storing the 5 value into register R0. Okay, and in this instruction we are storing or moving the data 3 into R1, and in this instruction we are adding register R1 and R0. Please note that we are not adding R2 and R0, we are adding R1 and R0, and whatever the result we are getting by adding, we are storing that result in R2. So after adding 5 and 3 we will get 8, and 8 is stored in R2, right? And note that in this group of instructions, the RAM is not yet accessed, right? Because all the operations are happening entirely within the CPU registers and not in the external memory. Okay. So in this group of instruction, whatever the operation like moving or adding, these are happening in the CPU only. The instruction are not going outside the CPU. That's why the RAM is not yet accessed here. So in two cases, RAM is accessed. Like in this example, loading the data from a memory address. So from this address, we are loading the data into R0 register. And in this example, we are storing the data to a memory location. Okay. So in these two cases, the RAM is accessed because the operation are going outside of the CPU. And in this example, the RAM is accessed, right? RAM access included. Like we are storing this address, which basically it is a address in the RAM into the CPU register R0. Okay, loading address into R0, and in this instruction we are loading value from RAM into R1. So I have already discussed what is the meaning of the these square brackets. That means dereferencing this address. Whatever the data is present at this address, go to that address and load that data into R1. Okay, and in this instruction we are incrementing the value of R1 by 1. Okay, so R1 will become R1 plus 1, and in this fourth instruction we are storing it back into the RAM. After adding uh, one value to the register R1, we are storing back into the RAM. Okay, R0. So in these two examples I have discussed the basics of the registers. In this example, the RAM is not accessed, and is in this example RAM is accessed. Okay, and this figure I have written for the explanation of the special kind of registers. I will discuss the special registers in another video. In this video, I have just given you the overview of the registers with the help of these two examples. Okay. So the main objective of this video was to give you some overview that when the RAM is accessed in the operations and when the RAM is not accessed, right? So whatever doubt you have, you can comment down below. I will definitely answer that. So thank you for watching this video.